Hi, my name is Marilyn and welcome to my monthly reset. So today I'm going to walk you through kind of what I do at the end of every month to prepare for the next month, and it's a very simple process. I do it all on Notion, but it includes things like going through my expenses for the month, coming up with new goals for the new month and reflecting on the goals for February, updating some book notes, show notes I have, also updating all my calendar events, even going through some YouTube analytics things I have. After that, I'm gonna go and update my calendar on my fridge because that's something I always like to do before the start of the new month, and then update my bullet journal for the month of March. And so I have my coffee, I have my laptop, and I'm ready to go. Alright, let's start with my Notion homepage. So this is kind of my homepage on Notion that I started. I just have different sections for different parts of my life, and then some fun images, and then a calendar here at the bottom just to see the month. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is go over here and update this to be March. And I'm gonna go ahead and update, oops, not that. I'm gonna update my upcoming events for March. I do have a concert. And that is on the 5th of March. And I also have a dance competition this month, which should be fun, and that is on the 18th. And then moving on to my appointments. So the only appointment I have set for the month of March is to do my taxes, which that is on the 10th. So that's that for my events and my appointments. And then I like to update any upcoming birthdays that are coming up just to remind me. And the only one I have remembered so far is my friend Elise's, and hers is on the 4th. So that's cool. And then moving on to my goals. So me and Thomas decided to do this at the beginning of the year, where every month we come up with 3 goals of things we must do by the end of the month, and it just gets us to like finish things that we procrastinate on. So for February, we had 3 goals of 1, reorganizing office drawers, getting rid of our old office chair, and taking my passport photo. And we did 1 out of 3. So we didn't get to the other 2, which we might do this month, we might not, but at least I reorganized the office drawers, and I have a video on doing that, like a little vlog if you want to go watch. Okay, so I'm gonna just remove these and gonna think of my new goals for March. So I have already thought of 3 that I do want to complete, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and write them here. The first one being we do want to finish our taxes. So like I said, we do have an appointment for that, so that should be pretty straightforward. Another one I want to do this month is set up the iPad and start Procreate. So Thomas gave me his old laptop. No, not laptop. Thomas gave me his old iPad, and I kind of wiped it out with all his information and set it up as my own because he doesn't use it. So I want to finish setting that up and kind of like decorating it cute. And I also want to start learning Procreate. If you have seen my top goals for this year video, I mentioned how I want to learn Procreate and do like little drawings and animations there. So I do want to start that this month since I haven't started that at all. And my last goal is, I've been procrastinating on doing this. Oops, not there. Is dry cleaning my wedding dress. So I know it's been like 4 months since the wedding, but I still have my wedding dress wrapped up in a bag, all probably still dirty from that night. And so I really want to go take it to get cleaned because I think that's important. So I want to do that this month. So those are my 3 goals. Kind of updated my little monthly side in my homepage. I don't really do much for the calendar. Like I said earlier, I use the calendar on our fridge to kind of update with events and appointments and stuff. So later on I'm gonna update that calendar, but this one's just an overview for the month. And going back up here, some fun things I like to keep track of is like any books I've read. So in my book notes, I actually only read one book in February, which is this book called Better Than the Movies, and I actually already filled out my book note for that, so I'm kind of complete for that. And then another thing I like to keep track of is the shows I watch. So I do want to update this because I think I need to. Some shows that I started this month were this Yellow Jackets show, and I'm actually watching, and I rate it. I'm gonna give it a 4 because it's really entertaining. And then it just kind of gets moved down to my watching section here. And another show that I wanted to watch and I already started was The Last of Us, and so we're kind of kept up to date for that. I'm gonna give that 4 stars for now, but maybe 5 stars by the end of the season because it's really good. And then there was one more show that I started this month, which was Crash Course in Romance. It's on Netflix. It's like a Korean drama. I am loving it. So I am watching that right now. I'm gonna give it, it's between like a 3 or a 4 so far. I will give it a 3 for now, but it might change my mind as I continue to watch it. It's very cute though. It's a very cute show. Okay, those are all my shows for March. All right, another thing I do every month is I do update my expenses sheet because I like to kind of have an overview of the whole year of how much I spent and how much I'm spending on things like all my monthly bill payments and also just on my credit card in general. So that's kind of what I'm going to do next. So here I have like this Notion sheet that just tracks kind of like the last month and this in the current month here. So I have like January versus February, and then here in the total expenses is where I just keep track of like the whole year. So this is what I need to update right now. I basically will get rid of January. Since I already put January's totals here, I can kind of get rid of this column, and I'll move February's there, and I'll update to March. The only bill that is different is our rent went up by just a teeny bit. So this is my portion of our rent. So instead of paying $14.32, we're actually paying $14.84 each. So did that. And then all my other bill payments seem to be the same for this month. I have to actually, the AT&T one sometimes changes, so I will update that later. So as for what I paid this month on my credit card, which is my own personal credit card that I use for my own shopping expenses or food when I'm out alone, or my own Lyft rides or things like that. So the total for my credit card is $722. And then we also have a shared credit card between me and Thomas, where we put any shared expenses on there, like any food when we go out, any shopping things, expenses from Amazon, things like that. And so I like to keep track of my portion of it. So he just requests every month half of that credit card payment to me. And so I like to see how much like my portion or my half of it was, and keep track of that. Oh my bad, I accidentally put it this in March column, but this is for February is what I'm doing. And so for the shared credit card, I actually already inputted it here so I wouldn't forget. And it was $16.58 the total. And on this side here, approximate is kind of like what I try to stay around every month. So like for my personal credit card, my budget is like $800, which I was under this month. And then for our shared one, it's $1,500. I always want to stay around there, my payment. And this month it was a bit over, but that's okay. Oh my gosh, these I also need to swap because this is for the shared one and this is actually gonna put it here. Okay, cool. And then I will just add another column for March. And at the end of March is when I will like update some of these bill payments, and update my personal card and our shared card, and then also add them here in the total expenses. So that's kind of just what I do for my keeping track of my expenses. I do have a very interesting like budgeting style, I feel like. So if you're interested in that, let me know, leave a comment, and maybe I can make a video on it, on kind of how I budget and like save for different things like travel, like maybe a future house and things like that, because I do put a lot of money into savings. Okay, moving on. So another area that I like to keep track of every month is actually just our overall money overview for like both me and Thomas. So like I said, we have a shared credit card where we keep track of you know, all our expenses, but I kind of sometimes like to break that payment down and seeing exactly where our money is going to every month, because as you saw, it's like my half of that credit card payment is like $1,600. Like, what even makes up that $1,600? And that's kind of what this page is for. So like every quarter I'm gonna put like the total amount we spent and what we spent the most on. And I've been doing this for like January. I put like our food, our shopping, our groceries, our transport are probably our biggest expenses, and kind of how much we spent all together in each of those categories. And this percentage is like the percentage of like all of the expenses, because we have more than these different categories that we spend on, of course, like entertainment or other bills we pay. So for our food, it was a total of $1,200, and it was like about 45% of our purchases. For shopping, it was 13% of our purchases, and the total was not too bad, $339. And I also like to see how much we spent on like Amazon and like Target, because I feel like we go there a lot. So that's kind of interesting to note. And this month we did, let me see, okay, 166, whoops, and $125 there. So that's for shopping. Groceries this month we spent $309, and it was 12% of our expenses. For transport includes any parking, any Lyft rides we take together, gas that we put in the car, any tolls, things like that. So 5% of our expenses was transport, and it was a total of $135. So it's kind of interesting to see month to month like how we do. We're actually pretty similar every month. Like the amount we spent on food was very similar this month to last month. Same goes for the other categories. There wasn't too much of a difference, but it's interesting to see if we are spending more on these things or less every month. And the last thing that I like to update on Notion is my YouTube ad analytics. Now, I just started doing this, or like I just thought of the idea of doing this. I thought it would be really interesting. So I kind of like wrote out for January what my current subscribers were, my watch time, my views. And I want to map out every month like how I'm doing, because this year I decided to take YouTube a little more seriously and just try my best to post at least one video every week. And so I'm curious how that affects like my subscriber count and my views. Now, if you're watching this and you enjoy it, please take the time to subscribe. It takes literally 2 seconds. It's so simple. And I actually have a goal of hitting 500 subscribers before my birthday, which is in May. Okay, sorry, my thing ran out of space. But yeah, if you could help me out in reaching that goal, please do so. Much appreciated. So going back to these analytics that I have, I'm just gonna update where I'm at in February, at the end of February. So for subscribers, I am actually now at 148. So went up by like 20, cool. Watch time for 19 hours now, and views 7. So like 10,700 views. Cool, so things are going up, which is a good sign, I guess. All right, so that's all I have for updating on my Notion. Again, it's just really simple. And now what I'm gonna do is update my fridge calendar. All right, so every month I also update the fridge calendar like I mentioned. Now Notion I don't check every day. It's not like something I go on daily to take a look at and stuff. It's just more like every month to keep track of things kind of in the past or throughout the year, so I could kind of look back on and see like an overall overview. But this thing I look at every day because it's on my fridge and I need food every day. So this is something I am actually really good about updating and keeping track of. And so kind of what I do is just like update like the month, the whole calendar, add like the events that I have, the birthdays, the appointments, things like that. And it's kind of a great way for both me and Thomas to keep track of all that. And then this thing, I like this thing because it also has the goals, and this is kind of where we came up with that idea of like having 3 goals for the month. So this is kind of where I lay those out. And then it also has a little section for habits. So sometimes I like to keep track of specific habits I have, which I do in my bullet journal, and that I will talk about that later, but that is something that I do use every day. But it's kind of nice to have it here too, and also a way for like us to keep track of habits we both share between me and Thomas. So sometimes I use this habit part, sometimes I don't. I sometimes forget to update it every day. Okay, so moving on to just updating this. Here's where I write those 3 goals that I had in Notion, and what were they even again? Oh yeah. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna remove setup iPad. That's still a goal for myself, but since that's just like a me goal, and these are sometimes goals like me and Thomas should want to complete, is I'm gonna put up posters, because there's these certain frames we want to put up in the apartment. Put up frames. Let's see if we do that, because there was 2 other tasks we didn't do for February. So, yeah, that's just my setup for my fridge calendar. For some reason, the pigment on a lot of these markers is not good. And now, moving on to my bullet journaling. The last thing I like to do every month is set up my bullet journal for the upcoming month. So I've never been good at bullet journaling. Like, if it's something that I had to do every single day, it's really difficult. But this year I tried it out and I found a system that really works for me. And the key is to keep it simple. So instead of like in the beginning of the year drafting out all the bullet journal pages, I didn't do that. I just drafted up the one for the next month. And so that's kind of like what I'm gonna do today, is draft up March's bullet journal spreads that I have. And as for the things that I do daily with my bullet journal, the reason that it works is because I do it right before I go to sleep, and I will show you what they are, but it literally takes me less than 2 minutes to do. It's so fast. There's specific habits that I want to track throughout the whole year, and to fill that out plus my 1 line a day, it could take me 1 minute to do. And so since it's so simple and easy, I've been really consistent with it and good at updating it every single day. So going into kind of like the 1 line a day, like this is my February one, and then also in the back of each one I like add little pictures that from the month. And so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna fill out March's 1 line a day so that I have that ready for tomorrow. The other thing that I do every month that I update is add the next month's habit tracker. So I'm gonna do this one today, but basically to describe it to you is for every month there's like 4 habits that I'm tracking throughout the whole year. And the first one is seeing if I didn't eat meat that day, seeing if I was on time that day, because that's one big goal I have for this year, to be more on time. If I read that day, I will mark it, and if I cleaned up that day, which just means tidy up the kitchen and living room area before I go to sleep. for my bullet journal, some other things I am keeping track of for the rest of this year is what books I read and also what new movies I saw. So this is new movies to me. Like, this is the first time I've watched this movie, and every time that I watch a new movie I will add it to here. So I'm just gonna kind of like update this spread for my movies, and basically throughout the month I'll have like a little slot like already ready for any movie I watch, and I'll just write down the name, and at the end of the month is when I have this like instant printer, and I'll print the little picture of that movie and like just paste it over the text since it fits. And then for my books, it's very similar to the movies. I just kind of put a little sticker of the book that I read. I don't really rate it or anything because I do have my book notes on Notion where I keep track of all of my books that I read and kind of what they're about. So here is just to get an overview of the year of like all the books I read and like a visual way to see them. And then one last thing that I do on my bullet journal is like, these were my 3 words that I wanted to embody this year. And it's chill, gratitude, and creativity. So every day, if at the end of the day when I'm doing my bullet journal thing, which again takes me like 2 minutes, I will like see if that day felt chill, or if I felt a lot of gratitude, or if I did anything with my creativity that day. I will just kind of like mark it here, and hopefully at the end of the year I can see like how much this page is filled out. So that's kind of just what I do for my bullet journal every month to kind of prepare for the next month and have it ready to be used. Again, really simple, really easy to keep up with. I highly recommend doing this method. I've liked it a lot. I'm excited to see at the end of the year what it looks like too, because like I said, I've never done like a full bullet journal for the whole year, and most of the time it's just too much stuff people do with this. But I like to keep it simple and it works for me. So that is basically all for my monthly reset. Those are all the things that I do at the end of every month before a new month starts. And it has helped me, this routine like has helped me a lot, and it helps me keep track of all my different things like my expenses, the books I read, the shows I watch, and all of that jazz. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment if you do anything in your monthly routine or anything that you think would be useful to add to my routine, because I'm always looking for things to do when I do these monthly resets every month. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down below, and hopefully see you in the next video. So